But what about the times where it feels like a friendship has run its course? Because I think sometimes we think that all friendships are meant to be lifelong friendships. But you and I both know it, being in our mid-40s, the lifelong friendships are very, very rare. I mean, having a 10-year friendship is rare.
That's right.
So when do you know that it's okay to let a friendship, I guess, at least move into a different category?
Yeah, that's right. I would say, and I imagine a lot of people won't like this because I'm making friendship sound more mechanical or even transactional than it really is. And that's true. It's not transactional. And I don't think it's intended to be mechanical. But in the same way that I might put my wife's birthday on the calendar, which I generally remember most of the time, but it's still on my calendar. Or if I put on the calendar, send a text to Wade or buy flowers for Kelly or call one of my girls, I think that's okay. And if that feels too formulaic and too mechanical for somebody, then that's maybe just a difference of opinion. But I need that kind of support and structure in my life to be successful. I can't just sit around and remember and hope that my heart feels it at the right time all the time. So getting back to my point, how do you know a friendship has run its course? I think if you've never gone through the exercise of saying, regardless of how you categorize them, you can read different books or talk to different people, and this concept exists. It's a matter of how you choose to label it. But there are some people who, and let's just kind of call them A, B, and C, and I'm not creating a hierarchy as much as just trying to make sense of this conversation. A's are people who just get to be in your life. They're like intimately involved in your life. You share life. It's symbiotic. It goes back and forth. It's a really great relationship. B would be we're in each other's lives. We know that we like each other. It's amicable. We love to get time together. We might even love to get more time together, but we just don't for a variety of reasons. We don't live near each other. Our schedules don't permit it. Seasons of life are not aligned. And then C's are oftentimes I don't love spending time with these people. I often do it because I feel like I should. I feel like maybe God's put them in my life for a specific reason, but they tend to be people that drain us more than energize us.
Yeah.
Well, if you have friends categorized in these different buckets, and again, someone's going to freak out about like, oh my gosh, that sounds so terrible. Well, it's not terrible when it helps you realize, okay, these are the 4 people that get priority in my life. And in that kind of A category are obviously your family, probably the 2 or 3, maybe 4 really close friends you get in a lifetime, because you don't get 30 of them. You don't get 10 of them. You get maybe a handful if you're lucky. Sometimes you get 1 or 2 that are in your life. But those are people who are like, those are your top priorities. Your B's are like, I love these people. And maybe some of these B's can become A's over time, but I love these people and I think they're amazing. Life just doesn't work. I mean, one of the things that we've discovered over 22 years of marriage is that when couples have kids in the same season of life as your kids, it makes things a lot easier. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you can't be friends if you don't, but it sure makes things a lot easier. When your kids are going through the same types of things and eating dinner at the same time, going to bed at similar times, it allows you to travel together, do events together, hang out together. It really helps. If that's not the case, you have to work a little harder, right? So I would say in this priority category, this A category is like, okay, these are the people that are like really tight. The B's and C's, great. B's, I love spending time with. C's, and I don't know. But in time, as friendships do run their course, and I certainly believe that some friendships are seasonal, that they're meant for a period of time and then you can move on. If somebody is in your life and they're intimately in your life and you move on after a year, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years, there's nothing wrong with that, even though it might be extremely sad. Of course, It's sad to invest time in a friendship, but the reality is if you're going to let sad deter you from living the rest of your life, you're going to be in trouble. Yes, life is sad sometimes. And when it is sad, our job is to process it and learn from it and take everything from it that we can and allow it to really start to refine our hearts and our character and bring maturity into our lives. But then eventually we do move on. And for some people, the eventually is quickly as a week or a month or a year. And for some people, it's like years and years and years and decades. But eventually we do have to move on. And if you're saying, or if you're asking, how do you know when it's time to move on? I don't know if I have an answer for that. I am a gut person, meaning I go with my gut quite a bit. I know when I'm with somebody, outside of the X factor that God may have said, like, this is a friendship for you. And that's happened to me a handful of times in my life. This is a friendship I want you to really nurture and foster. But outside of that, if I'm not with somebody and I feel like that's really energizing, I feel like we can contribute and kind of lift each other's lives, then I feel like, okay, when that starts to wane and I'm either that's not happening or I'm not interested in making that happen, then I know, okay, I think we may be running out of gas here, right? This relationship may be starting to taper off. And I don't have a problem with that, but I also am the same person that's going to tell you, I'm okay walking away from a relationship because I like looking towards the future, where
Right.
some people love to look into the past. And for them, the thought of walking away from a friendship is like gut wrenching, excruciating. They could never do anything worse in their lifetime. Well, at some point, you do a disservice to all your other friendships because you only have the bandwidth to manage so many really intimate, high priority friendships. You do a disservice to all the other ones when you have to hang on to every friendship. So I would say learning to prioritize based on season of life, what still feels energizing and compelling, what still feels like it's life-giving versus life-taking. Those are all the indicators outside of like, let's pray about it and this X factor of like, God's got a friendship for you with this person and you have to acknowledge it.
Yeah. I think there was so much wisdom that you just shared in there.
I'm super wise. That's why I'm not sure if you know that.
Very, very wise.
Yeah, incredibly wise. Like 10 out of 10.
I knew it, but now all of our listeners know it too. But I think it's important to realize that just because a friendship fails doesn't mean you failed as a friend.
Yeah, that's right.
And maybe even fails is the wrong word. Maybe because a friendship ends doesn't mean you failed as a friend. Because like you said, sometimes it's a natural ebb and flow of life, and seasons change, jobs change, proximity change. And one thing that's really helped me, and like you said, you can use so many different categories, whether it's A, B, or C. But sometimes I have put my the relational needs that you would get from a friend on the wrong category of people, in terms of these people were really just either associates at work, or they were people that I was called to invest in and mentor and pastor, yet I was wanting more from the relationship when God had actually assigned me to mentor them. And I was looking for the emotional connection that you would get from a friend from somebody who I was called to lead, and it caused frustration there.
Yes.
And so I think it can seem mechanical sometimes to categorize friends, but I think it's actually helpful to know, God, what are you calling me to bring into this relationship? And then what reasonable expectation should I have from it? And that at least gives you a starting place to know how to define the relationship. And I think once something is defined, it can grow, it can flourish